Since you have already an idea about drugs, so I have a question. Can you tell if someone is using drugs? Well, if someone is using drugs, you might notice changes in how the person looks or acts. There are some signs and behaviors that may raise concern that your child is using drugs. However, many of these signs are also common among teenagers, so it is important not to jump to conclusion. So here are some of those signs, but it's important to remember that depression or another problem could be causing these changes. So somebody using drugs might lose interest in school. Not only can drugs impair teens' cognitive development, they can also affect students' performance in school, their ability to memorize things, concentration in the classroom, prioritization of assignments, likelihood to attend class, and even their overall IQ. Also, we have changed friends to hang out with kids who use drugs. Friends who use drugs may motivate, teach, and reinforce adolescents to self-medicate as a way of using substances. Thus, adolescents with high levels of friendship, intimacy, and with greater exposure to friends who use substances may also be more likely to self-medicate. Become moody, negative, cranky, or worried all the time. Mood swings are a common symptom of many types of addiction, such as alcohol use disorder. According to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, this is a result of the ways these chemicals impact the brain, as to be left alone a lot. Based on my research, it is reported that 65% of adults aged 45 years or older who have been diagnosed with drug or alcohol abuse report being lonely. Ironically, those who have begun a drug or alcohol habit may often choose isolation to hide their habit from loved ones or friends, increasingly become lonelier to cope with feelings of being lonely. Have trouble concentrating. Since you are using drugs, probably you can't focus well. It depends on how much you take, how your body metabolizes the drug, and your individual sensitivity. Actually, it is according to Dr. Albers. Problems also could be caused by undesirable drug interactions, while many medication can cause brain fog and other memory problems. Sleep and pain drugs are the most common culprits. It includes also who sleep a lot, maybe even in class. So, like for example, cocaine and amphetamine-like drugs such as methamphetamine are among the most potent dopamine-increasing drugs. And their repeated misuse can lead to severe sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation in turn downregulates dopamine receptors, which makes people more impulsive and vulnerable to drug taking. So, do drugs addicts have a hard time sleeping? But these changes in our brain chemistry and circuitry to do more than lead to compulsive drugs use. They can also lead to trouble sleeping. Substance abuse can cause both acute or short-term and chronic for long-term. It means for its sleep difficulties. For some, this can result in sleep disorders like insomnia and
causing
sleep
hallucinations.
apnea. Also for those who get into fights. As we notice, most and foremost who use drugs cannot control their eagerness, so that's why they into fights. Specific drugs associated with aggression include alcohol, anabolic steroids, cocaine, amphetamines, sedatives, opiates, and hallucinogens. Aggression can be categorized into impulsive and predatory aggression. Have red or puffy eyes. Bloodshot eyes are a common symptom of intoxication from several drugs, especially alcohol, cocaine, and marijuana. So these occur because blood vessels in the eyes expand. Lose or gain weight. Do drugs cause weight gain or loss? Some medicines might stimulate your appetite. This causes you to eat more and gain extra weight. Some medicines might affect your body's metabolisms. This causes your body to burn calories at a slower Ray cough a lot. Just like cigarette, some who use drugs cough a lot. Drugs are chemicals, and when people smoke, inject, or otherwise consume these chemicals, it negatively affects their health. Drugs interact with gas exchange in the lungs and lead to aspiration, pneumonitis, pulmonary edema, and pneumonia and other diseases. And of course, have a runny nose all of the time, like cocaine. Addicts may find that their nose becomes runny. They can also experience nosebleeds. Regular cocaine use can damage blood vessels throughout the body. The damage begins when cocaine use constrict blood vessels, changing bleeding patterns. What can we do to help? So, if you think someone is using drugs, the best thing to do is to tell an adult that you trust. This could be a parent, other relative, teacher, coach, or school counselor. The person might need professional help to stop using drugs. A grown-up can help the person find the treatment needed to stop using drugs. Another way kids can help kids is by choosing not to try or use drugs. It's a good way for friends to stick together. So we have words to know. So understanding drugs and why they are dangerous is another good steps for a kid to take. Here are some words that may be new to you. The first one will be addiction. So when we say addiction, it is a chronic dysfunction of the brain system that involves reward, motivation, and memory. It's about the way your body craves a substance or behavior, especially if it causes a compulsive or obsession pursuit of reward and lack of concern over consequences. Okay, so someone has an addiction when he or she becomes dependent on or cannot stop taking the drug without getting sick or craves a drug of all the time. So the next one will be depressant. A depressant is a drug that slows a person down. Doctors prescribe a depressants to help people be less angry, anxious, or tense. Depressants relax muscles and make people feel sleepy, less stressed out, or like their heads is stuffed. Some people may use these drugs illegally to slow themselves down and help bring on sleep, especially after using various kinds of stimulants. We have hallucinogen. A hallucinogen is a drug such as LSD that changes a person's mood and makes him or her see or hear things that are not really there or think strange thoughts. High. When we say high, it is the feeling that drug user wants to get when they take the drugs. There are many types of highs, including a very happy or spacey feeling, or a feeling that someone has a special powers such as the ability to fly or to see into the future. Inhalant. An inhalant such as glue or gasoline is sniffed or huffed. To give the user an immediate high, inhalants produce a quick feeling of being drunk, followed by sleepiness, staggering, dizziness, and confusion. And the next one will be narcotic. When we say narcotic, dulls the body senses or leaving a person less aware and alert and feeling carefree, and relieves pain. Narcotics can cause someone to sleep, fall into stop, or have a convulsions, and even slip into a coma. Certain narcotics, such as codeine, are legal if given by doctors to treat pain. Heroin is an illegal narcotic because it has a dangerous side effects and it's very addictive. And when we say stimulant, a stimulant speeds up the body and brain. Stimulants such as methamphetamines and cocaine have the opposite effect of the depressants. Usually, stimulants make someone feel high and energized. When the effects of a stimulant wear off, the person will feel tired or sick. So, that is the words that we must know, and remember that drugs can affect different people in different ways. So, to know more better about drugs, let's have our next speaker to discuss more deeper about drug education.